I think you're full of Colleges trick people into going because of social pressure, because of people like you.
Hey everybody, my name is Hisham Khan and welcome to Income Over Outcome. Now today's video is going to be a little bit different. See, in my video where I talked about the 10 degrees that make the most millionaires, I called out those millionaire gurus who always say college is a scam. Well, today I invited one of them to debate that topic. Now this is going to be a super insightful conversation and I want to bring you all into it. So be sure to watch the entire thing and comment your thoughts throughout the video. I'll definitely be reading them. Hopefully at the end of this, you can decide for yourself if you think college is worth it or not. Now Renee, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Renee Lacad. I am an entrepreneur based out of Los Angeles, California. Recently this year during the pandemic, I moved to Miami because it's just better for my business. It's open. And I'm here to talk to you because we've been having, I guess, differences in opinion when it comes to college. And I saw one of your videos originally. It had me in there. Someone had sent it to me. And I was like, who is this guy? Who does he think he is? So I duetted it.
Yeah, you were coming at me, man.
I duetted it and you replied, it's good to be face to face. We can actually have a conversation.
Exactly, yeah. Tell me your background with college and overall your thoughts around it.
So I am a college dropout, and I think college is one of the biggest scams in America today. Obviously, you have different views on that. And I make a lot of videos that kind of share my feelings about it because I do think college is a scam to an extent. There are exceptions, right? And I hate when people make this argument. It's like, oh, what if your doctor didn't go to college? If you're a doctor, if you're a doctor, engineer, nurse, any STEM degree, obviously college is the way to go, but anything outside of that, I think it's a big waste of time. I think it's a scam. So I'm gonna ask you a question. You went to college, right?
I did.
What do you have a degree in?
Health management.
Health management. Do you feel like, obviously degrees are very helpful. Do you think it was worth it?
So I think my degree specifically is worth it because I use it on a daily basis for my job and what I do. And that's one thing I talk a lot about on my channel is if you're going to college, get a degree that you're actually going to use. Don't get a degree, for example, like gender studies. It's not going to set you up for a real practical job. I go a step further and I focus on actually getting a high-paying job.
So what do you do?
I'm a consultant.
You're a consultant?
Yeah, that's my day job. Consulting, finance, and things like that are some of the highest paying jobs you can get out of college. And so I push people towards, if you want to become successful, balance what you enjoy with something practical to get a job and major in that.
What is the value of college in your head? What is the value of college? I want to know.
So number one, you will learn things not only that can get you a job, but things that will help you out in life. If you have a finance degree, you'll learn about investing and taxes. That'll help you out no matter what, right? Everybody needs to know finance. And then beyond that, connections with people. My college, this depends on what college you go to. I just went to a state school, nothing fancy, but we still had connections with entrepreneurs, businessmen, and people in our neighborhoods. And like, I learned a lot from people like that. Also professors, I learned a ton from my professors, not in class, but just in talking to them in conversation about life. So I think there's a ton of value you can get from just being in that environment.
100%. I think your environment is everything. But everything you said today, all of the useful information you learned in your 4 years of college, you can learn that in a year, just learning it on your own.
That is totally not true, especially with my degree, because it's highly specialized. What I value most are the connections I made. And sure, you can make those connections at other points of your life, but college just kind of forces you into there and like pushes you towards it. I think it's a lot easier. A lot of my friends who are successful now, we were drawn to each other in college because of our mindsets. And I would never have met these people if it wasn't for college. Would you agree that in business, who you know is key?
Yeah, it's half what you know, half who you know.
Exactly. The connections I made were like super high value.
Agree for what you do though.
Not even for what I do. I know people who have startup businesses, who work in venture capital.
The universe works in a weird way where if you are something, that's what you bring into your life. I wanted to be an entrepreneur for the longest time, and I only ran into entrepreneurs. It's a crazy thing. That's just how it works. It's like...
Where were you raised?
I was raised in a suburb of LA, Los Angeles.
So I think a lot of that probably has to do with where you're from, man. LA is like a hot spot for entrepreneurs, people grinding it out and all of that. But for a lot of people, let's say you're in Middletown, Ohio, college just makes sense.
Well, here's a cool thing. Here's a cool thing about that too. We have this thing called social media now, where you can find entrepreneurs and DM them. Me having a bigger platform on social media, I get literally hundreds of DMs every day of people.
Me too, bro. The odds of me answering and actually meeting with these people are really low.
I agree. But look, that's an entrepreneur right there. This guy right here, entrepreneur right there.
But when I was in college, they come to speak to us and I can go up there, I can shake their hand and talk to them one-on-one. I don't think I would have gotten that anywhere else.
I disagree because you have 18-year-olds that are going to meetups, events. Great example, I had an event, right? An entrepreneur event where a bunch of 17-year-olds showed up. Maybe because of my TikTok audience, I don't know. But I literally went, I was like, hey, look around you. You're all 17-year-olds that want to start a business. All of these people are your potential business partners.
And that's actively seeking it out. But most people aren't exposed to that type of stuff online. But college is a place where you can be exposed to new ideas and people, which is why I think it's valuable.
Why are you getting a college degree if it's losing its value?
How is a college degree losing its value? Explain that.
Companies are moving away from college degrees.
There's a handful of companies, not a ton, that have said you don't need a college degree.
But they're the biggest companies in the world and they're moving in that direction.
Yeah, but I also know people who work at these companies and they got those jobs because of their degree. There's not a lot that you could learn outside of school unless you're highly, highly motivated to get you those jobs.
So here's a great example. Elon, SpaceX is a great example. Let's say you know someone at SpaceX, right?
My best friend works there, yeah.
He's gonna need to know engineering stuff, so that's why he has college. But it's not, Elon Musk has said it specifically, it's not the college degree, it's not the piece of paper, it's the expertise.
College gives you the time to build up those skills and take 4 years to maybe make mistakes, maybe you fall on your feet, but you're not risking anything because you're in college and you're building up skills. A lot of companies still require you to have a college degree, and having that college degree will give you an upper hand.
What I think you're mistaking now, what I think you're mistaking in your head, you're mistaking skills for a college degree. I think you put a big value on skills. You don't put a value on the college degree.
I do put a big value on skills.
Because I do too. Just for the record, skills are everything.
So explain to me, how do you build these skills as a 17, 18-year-old, knowing nobody, not having any idea what to do with your life? How do you start building those skills without college? What's the first step? Just Googling?
Here's a great first step. Everything you need is on Google and YouTube. Outside of performing heart surgery, everything you need is on Google and YouTube. It's free.
So are you saying that the vast majority of people shouldn't go to college, just learn things on their own time once they're 18, and then hope for the best? Like, what do they do after they learn this stuff on Google?
Well, once they have these skills, they can apply these skills. That's the coolest part. Because most employers will take you. And it's all working up through skills, because that's what employers value anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how the typical career path works. But would you say having a college degree might make that easier? It might make it easier to get your first job, or might make it easier to get an internship, which will give you experience.
You could, if you took that same approach that you had, this smart, practical approach in business, I feel like you'd be ahead way faster.
For people who don't know what business to start, don't know what to do, college just makes sense. Now, if you're someone who is totally killing it at 18, you know exactly what you want to do, you're like, I want to start XYZ business, college is probably not for you because you have a solid plan and you're probably motivated to do whatever. But you can just say, okay, do business, start a business. How are you going to start a business if you don't have any ideas? I'll tell you, when I was 18, I didn't know what the hell I want to do with my life.
Neither did I.
You could not have expected me to not go to college and just become something. I don't know what I would have done.
No, but here's the thing. I think you're smart enough to have figured it out.
I think I would have figured it out, but I don't think my timeline would have been much different than it is with college.
Here's another question for you. You make money on social media, right?
Yeah.
How much did it cost you to start that? Did you need your degree for that?
I did not need my degree for that, but my content inherently, what I talk about, is from my experiences, and it's from going to college.
100%, and that's, again, your experiences.
But the thing is, I had an idea and I knew what to talk about. You can't just tell an 18-year-old, go start making content.
You can absolutely do that. That's where we disagree again.
It's difficult to get traction.
According to who? Who says that?
You need to have a solid plan. You need to have strategy behind it. You know, bro, making content is not easy. There's a lot that goes behind it to be successful.
One thing I've learned doing social media, again, this is my job, social media, essentially, you never know what content will be good. Because here, I have to say, your content, in my opinion, it's a lot more highly produced. It's a lot better than mine from a production perspective, because you use a camera, you have all this editing. It's sick. Your content is sick. I have nothing against your content. I have more followers than you.
Yeah, I mean, no, you definitely don't need production value for content. But I think the idea behind creating like long-term content, that takes time. You need to have a strategy.
You don't need. You do need to have a strategy. I agree, but you don't need college for that, is what I'm saying, and it's free to do for anyone.
Let's say, okay, you're grinding for 1 or 2 years. You're not making much money from content. What are you gonna do? What's your backup?
Get a job, get roommates, keep trying.
Yeah, but what type of job?
You can get any job. So here's the beautiful part about it, right? I made 6 figures before I even started my business. And I was blessed. So that's one thing where I have to say I got lucky. I was able to talk to people. I got a sales job. I'm good at sales. I was able to build a 6-figure career without college. But there's a ton of jobs that pay you. You don't have to make a lot. You could work customer service on the phones at a call center, make $15 an hour, provide for themselves, survive while they're trying to build their business. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree with that, but I think that on the other side, you could be doing the same thing, be trying to build a business while going to college.
So this is my question on that, right? Who's supporting you? Who's supporting you when you do that?
So I took out student loans.
Do you still owe them?
I don't owe them anymore because I made enough money. But you need to be practical with how much your college costs. So don't choose a super expensive college, because I agree that the system is messed up and it makes going to college harder. That is 100% fact. But that puts it on us to not make a stupid decision. Don't go $200,000 in debt to get a degree.
Okay, so let me stop you right there. You're telling an 17, 18-year-olds to make good financial decisions. When I was 17, 18, I was just trying to get laid. I was a boy. I was just horny. All I wanted to do was get laid.
So if you can't expect a 17 or 18-year-old to make the basic financial decisions, how can you expect them to start a successful business? That's what I'm getting at, is it takes time.
Well, no, because they follow passion. There's 18-year-old. All you need is one piece of content. An 18-year-old that likes to make TikToks, all he needs is one piece of content to change his life. You know that guy, his name is Dogface. He had like a...
Yeah, this skateboard guy, yeah.
He made one video. That video changed his life.
But he's a 1 in a million story.
No, he's not, because it happens everywhere. There's tons of... okay, here's a great example. I have 600,000 followers on on TikTok specifically. You know there's 14,000 people with more followers than me? 14,000
people out of how many people have TikTok accounts? How many kids are grinding right now to try and get famous?
But you don't need 600K. Because my 600K banked me close to $1 million. And that's a completely different story. That's because I knew how to run a business. Think about the kids who have 200,000, 100,000. They could easily make 50, 60 grand with 100,000 followers.
But I'm saying that getting to that point takes time. And there's no reason to not do that while you're in college. Why can't you do that while you're in college? That way, if it doesn't work out, what's the worst case scenario? You have a backup plan?
And this is why I hate the term backup plan. I hate that. You sound like my mom. I had a Filipino mom and she would always say, what's your plan? What's your plan? A plan. I didn't have a plan. And my life turned out great because I didn't have a plan. You know why? Because great example, right? And I speak in quotes a lot. My first mentor was Ty Lopez. I used to work for Ty Lopez. So this motherfucker spoke in quotes. Now I speak in quotes. It's just osmosis. Alexander the Great. I don't know if it was Alexander the Great. It was one of these rulers. The saying, have you heard of burn the ships?
Yeah, I think so.
Burn the ships. So essentially when they went and invaded a nation, what he said, the first thing he said to do is burn the ships. Because if you're invading somewhere and you have ships, guess what you're going to do? If you're losing, you're going to get back in your ships and you're going to run away. If you burn the ships, you have no escape plan. Your only option is to succeed in your invasion.
Yeah, so
right?
I totally get that argument. But my thing is, let's say plan A doesn't work out, you should have a plan B. Maybe your plan B is another business.
Well, here's the thing. If your plan A is to become an entrepreneur, you're gonna be an
entrepreneur, yeah. But maybe you have to go through several different business ideas before it starts working.
Based on what you said right now, this is another reason why I hate college. You know what the killer of dreams is? A comfortable salary. comfortable salary. When I was 18, broke, didn't have any sort of income, and like I wasn't going to college, I had no education, I was 18 years old. My life was, I would wake up at 6 a.m., start grinding, go to work, sleep at like 3 a.m. Like I was killing myself to like figure out a way to make money. Now that I have money, I never wake up early anymore.
So I think that comes down to your personal preference and motivation with where you are in life. I had a very comfortable salary after I graduated college, but I personally wasn't totally satisfied by that. I just wanted something more. And it wasn't necessarily money. I didn't want money. I wanted impact. I wanted to start having an impact on people. And that was my motivation. That's why I started to grind to make content. Every single day after work, I finished work around 5, 6, maybe sometimes 7. I would spend the next 3, 4 hours until nighttime thinking about content, making videos and all of this stuff. Just because I was passionate about it. Just because you have a salary doesn't necessarily mean you're comfortable. If you're motivated enough, you'll do whatever you need to do. And also, having a salary might make it easier to take risks. Because I had a good salary, I didn't care about if my content failed or starting something new. I could start investing in a high quality camera or things like that to make my content better. And I took more risks because I could afford more risks.
What is a risk? You don't think you risk 4 years of time by going to college?
College has a ton of value in those 4 years that is worth it.
Time is literally it's the most valuable thing we have. And if college is going to be 70% of stuff you don't use and 30% of stuff that you do use, why don't you just learn on your own the 30% of stuff that you are actually going to use?
In college, what you do with your time is totally up to you. If you go ahead wasting it, doing a bunch of random stuff, then that's on you. But you can make that cost worth it by going ahead and learning on your own, making connections, maybe starting a business, learning about business.
Were you popular in college? I'm gonna tell you this now. The way you're talking about it, any kid that, like I said, any 18-year-old boy that goes to college, what do they want to do? Be honest, be real. Do they want to study about business and start a business?
Let me tell you what I did my freshman year of school. I had a 2.0 GPA is what I ended that year with because I didn't do any schoolwork. I went out every single day of the week. I missed classes, slept through them and all of that. And so I know what you're saying. But then it comes down to, okay, figuring out your priorities and actually balancing your time. My second year of college, I learned how to do well in school, study during the week, still go out on weekends. And that's also when I got my first job in college to actually apply what I've been learning. That is what set me ahead, is prioritizing all of that.
Okay, let me go back to it. How old are you?
23.
When I was 23, I was a millionaire already.
Okay.
I'm sure you are great now. You have a great job with a great salary. You're very comfortable. And I have no doubt in my mind, at some point, maybe even very soon, you're gonna become a millionaire. But because you did college and you went this route, you lost a lot of time. And to you, you're like, it's fine, I'm still young, I'm 23.
How long did it take you after dropping out to start like a successful business?
I dropped out when I was 18. I bounced around jobs until I was like 22. Started my first successful business at 22. It was making like 50, 60 grand a year. And then when I was turned 23, about 2.5, 3 years ago, took off fast. So it went from making 60 grand, right? So it went from making 60 grand to like 200, 300, 400 grand, 500 grand, until eventually started doing $1 million in revenue. But so it took me from 18 to 22, 4 years.
So let me tell you, that timeline you described is the same exact timeline with college.
No, because at the end of it, I had a business that was pumping out $500 to $1 million a year. At the end of, if I had gone to college, the end of it, I would have had a college degree.
Well, there's two different things. If you started this business while you were in college and you were grinding just as much, you still would have had that business plus a college degree. It still took you 4 years to establish yourself and get to where you wanted to be. So you can't say, oh, college, you just spend too much time, you waste time, because it still took you the same amount of time to get to where you are. It all depends on what you want in life. You can't say that some people, you can't just totally write off a whole entire thing as big as college and say no one should go there.
Colleges are businesses at the end of the day, and that's what stresses me out. And they trick people into going because of social pressure, because of people like you. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. So I think if they took off, and I'm very passionate about this, as you can tell, I think if they took off a lot of things, like they left your degree, obviously your degree seems good, all the STEM degrees, maybe finance, accounting, if they left those in college and took out all the ones that waste people's time, I think college would be a pretty good idea. But when 70% of the options in college are trash and there's only 30% which are good, I think if it's hurting more people than it's helping, I think it's just bad in general.
So everything you said is exactly what I focus on in my videos. I talk about all of the degrees that you probably shouldn't get. I have a ton of videos about that. I also heavily focus on degrees that are totally worth it, that you should get. And I talk about all of the skills you need in life that will help you out. Skills that you should be learning in college while you're getting your degree on the side that will put you ahead. And I think that's what it comes down to, is we have to own it for ourselves, make sure that we are learning what will put us ahead and what is best for us.
So the more I talk to you, the more I kind of get this, the more I get this feeling. We're not too far in the way we think.
No, that's what I told you in the beginning, bro. I think we agree on a lot of things.
We agree on a lot of things. I think you are just a lot safer than I am as far as like the way we think. I think my brain is wired to like go and like smash things, and your brain is wired to like maneuver your way in there and be safe about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would say it's safe. I think it's being smart with how I do it, because if I was 18 years old, start a random business, who knows if I would be earning the same money I am today.
You know what it is? This is my best take on it. It's swinging for a home run instead of swinging for a base hit. Ultimately, I think the people that are going to score. And I think I motivate people to go for home runs because I've been in that position where I understand how it feels, and it's like one of the most rewarding things to me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do a job. I did a job for 2 years and I hated it.
You bring up a good point there with a job, is our audiences are two different people. A lot of people in my audience don't necessarily want to become millionaires. They don't necessarily want to have their own business. They just want a good job that'll support a lifestyle that they want. They want to be able to afford a nice car with a nice house. Everybody has their own pace of doing things and their own path.
I'm big on that. Like, people that want a job need to go to college if that's what it takes. That people need to do what they need to do in order to get what they want.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying this whole time.
But the issue is most people don't know what they want to do, or most people want to start a business, and they think to start a business you have to go to college, and that's where I disagree. I would tell you not to do that.
To start a business, you don't have to go to college, but to start a business, you need to have an idea of what you're doing.
It's not true. You fail. Land on your face.
You need to have a business plan, idea of what business to start. Without that stuff, how are you going to start a business?
You try and you fail, and you try and you fail. Here's a great example. I tried 5 different things. I have a real estate license. I was like, I'm going to become a millionaire with real estate. Didn't happen. Did not happen. I tried to become one of these stock trader guys. Did not happen. I lost like $2,000. I tried to be one of the crypto guys. Didn't happen. I've tried so many different things and they never worked out until I found social media marketing.
So that's what I said earlier, is when you're an entrepreneur, you have to constantly try new things and see what sticks and what works best for you. And I think that's a great way to do it if you have that motivation. But like you brought up opportunity cost before, it took you a lot of time and money to figure out what works. And eventually you figured it out by learning on your own. But for some people, maybe they'll figure it out while they're in college, right?
Yeah, but again, it's like, why are you going to force people to...
Either way, it takes you time. And either way, you have to do it on your own. There's just two different paths to it. And you have to decide what works best for you.
Listen, I think we have a lot of the fundamental ideas in life I think we agree on. I think the only thing we have a disagreement on is college. But even college, based on this conversation, it sounds like we have a lot of the same thoughts on college as well. I think you just don't want to say that college is useless.
Well, I don't think college is useless. I think that for a lot of people, it is useful. But yeah, this has been a great conversation, and I hope everyone watching has learned something. I know Renee and I talked about it a lot, so definitely let me know what you thought in the comments. And I really enjoyed making this video, so if you want more guests like this in the future, also comment that. Do me a solid and hit that like button, and be sure to watch one of these videos, because you might find one of them helpful. I'll see you next time, but until then, peace.